Hi there, guys. It's me again, Kira, and this was a requested video. It's like literally the only request I got because you guys choose not to participate and try to actually comment things that I can do because I don't know what you guys want to see. I can't read your minds. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want me to post. Give me something to work with. But this post, by the way, update, I've decided to post videos every 3 to 4 days, so try to keep up with that, okay? But this video was requested. It's about my coming out story and any advice I may possibly have for people who are trying to come out and don't exactly know how to do it or maybe too scared to do so. But first of all, let's start with my coming out story. I was in 8th grade, and my mom knew beforehand. I came out to my mom first, and I was in 6th grade when I came out as bisexual, and I told my mom, and she didn't even care. She was just wondering what took me so long. She knew longer than I did. That's one thing. Your parents will always know you better than you know yourself. I don't know why, but it works that way. It's some weird telepathy thing they got going on. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But yeah, so my mom was fairly easy. She's been fairly easy through all the time, all the different things I've came out as. But as far as publicly and just openly identifying as anything, I came out. I didn't really come out of the closet. I was just kind of pushed out. I had a friend in 8th grade who I told her. She was the very first one I told that was not family. And basically, she just kind of slowly spread it around the school, and then eventually everybody knew, and I was just like, you know what? Everybody knows now anyway. There's no point in hiding it. And so I was just like, screw it. We're going to go with it. And ever since then, I have not been openly straight. Well, that's a lie. I'll get to that in a second. And then, before I came out as trans, I came out as gay. I was identifying as a gay male. And I think I came out as gay in 9th grade. Basically, I told my mom and all my friends, I was just like, I actually don't like girls. I'm just strictly guys. I was about to say something else. There's some of my friends from my old high school that watch this video and they'll be like, I know what she was about to say, girl. But yeah, I came out in 9th grade as gay, male, and so everybody was cool about it because they already knew that I was bisexual, so everybody that came out to was just kind of like, we really don't care. It's whatever, it's your sex life, not ours. And I was like, okay, cool. And then basically through high school, I just went through my little flip-floppy stage where I was just like, okay, now I'm gay, and now I'm bi, now I'm just gonna try to be straight because I was going through this extremely religious phase where I was just like, being gay was not supposed to be the thing. But then I went back to being gay, and it was a process, girl. It was a struggle. And then about a year after I got out of high school, I started talking to the guy that is now my ex-husband. And since about 10th grade, I had this kind of idea in my head, how would it be to live as a female? And it was just kind of this thought that was just kind of lingering in the back of my mind. I mean, I didn't actively like sit down and go through all the, you know, pros and cons and make my lists and do the research. I was just kind of, it was just kind of a thought. It was just like this little tiny voice and saying, hey, I'm here. Like, you know, I need to stop. I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway, but about a year after I got out of high school, I started talking to, we're going to call him Frederick. And Frederick was, you know, just talking about, you know, we were just talking. And I met him, I'm not going to say where, because y'all judgy people will, But the whole time I thought Frederick was born a male. I full-heartedly believed that Frederick had a floof or a between his legs. And so we were talking and everything, and it was just after we had met, we were texting because he lived about an hour and a half away from where I lived. And I told him that I liked him. I told him I thought he was cute and I wanted to date him. even though he was with, we're gonna call her Florence, Frederick and Florence. But he wasn't really happy with Florence. At least I thought he wasn't happy, but apparently he was, because he went back to Florence after we separated. So clearly there was something going on that he was happy about in that relationship. Sorry. But he was with Florence, but he told me he wasn't happy with Florence, that he was thinking about leaving Florence. And I said, well, if you leave Florence, I'm here. And then that's when he told me, he was like, well, I'm actually transgender. And I was just like, what? He was like, yes, I was born a female. And I was just like, no. And he was like, yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, I had no clue. And that really doesn't bother me. You know, I actually thought about, you know, me being transgender. You know, it's kind of been a thought in the back of my head for a couple of years. So we just kind of talked on the subject for a little bit, and I came to the conclusion that I wanted to transition. And so I changed my Facebook name, I changed my Facebook gender, I made a whole post on Facebook coming out to everybody. And as soon as my mom got home, I didn't want her to see the post on Facebook. I told her, and she had a few questions, but she wasn't against it. She bought me my first bra. She's helped me with many transitional things. She has bought me so many clothes. She's supposed to be helping me with my name change at the beginning of the year. If that works out, I'm hoping I got it. Well, love you, Mom. Yes, girl. Shout out. And then my grandmother, okay, my cousin showed my grandmother the post on Facebook. And so my grandmother took the liberty of telling my stepfather that I was wanting to have sexual reassignment surgery. I didn't get a chance to come out to my own stepfather. That really made me very upset. I was so mad for so long. And then just as I was about to get over it, she turns around, takes my mother out of the room, and tells her herself, she takes the liberty of telling my mother that I want to have sexual reassignment surgery, even though I'd already told her. So that wasn't the part that bothered me, that I wasn't the one to be able to tell her. What bothered me is that she took it upon herself to do something and say something. And honestly, it was not her place. It never was, and it never will be her place to tell anyone what is going on in my life. Especially my mother or my stepfather, father. Legally, he's my father, so just for the record, we're gonna say father, so I don't get confused. And I told my brother, and he was completely okay with it. He just switched up like that. I think I talked about this in the last video, actually. But I mean, he was just cool with it. He automatically switched over to, you know, calling me Kira, Sissy, whatever. And the name process was an ordeal too, because I feel okay telling you this because it wasn't my birth name, but the name I originally had chosen, because it was just an on-the-fly thing. I guess you could call it a filler name until I could find a better one, but I had chosen Calla because I'm kind of a sucker for lilies, like tiger lilies and stuff like that. And I was like, Calla Lily, I like Calla, or I like lilies, and so I'll Calla. And then I just kind of chose Brianna because it was kind of close to my old middle name, and it sounded pretty. So I was like, sure, Calla Brianna King. And so I went by that for a month, maybe. And finally, we were sitting down talking about names, and my mom was just like, the only thing that irritates me is that it has 5 letters. I specifically named you and Sean these things because they had 4 letters in the name. And I was just like, well, help me come up with another name then. Like, me and at the time, we were married, Frederick. Me, Frederick, and my mom were sitting there. We were all talking, and my mom was like, well, you've always liked the name Kira. It was the daughter off the show. I don't know how many of you guys watched this, but it was off a show called Reba, and the daughter was named Kira. She had that long, pretty red hair and everything. And I was just like, yeah, I do like that name. And so it kind of stuck, and now I'm Kirabrilynn King. Here I am. And since then, I came out to my other grandmother, the one that I actually do enjoy being around. Oh, I'm sorry. The one that... Never mind. I came out to my biological father and my grandmother, and it was just kind of... I've gotten lovely remarks from my biological father saying that I'm going to regret what I'm doing, and all of it's going to be like this, and yada yada yada, and blah blah blah, and hoo hee ha hee, and it's just been an ordeal. I still get misgendered by them, I still get misnamed by them, and it sucks. It really does. It really sucks. But I think we're starting to get to a point. I think I'm starting to have a breakthrough with my grandmother, because today she called me Kira. I'm not gonna lie, got a little emotional, because I was just like, oh my god, she called me Kira. What? And like, it threw me off at first, but I'm really happy about it. I really am, because I really love my grandmother, and I want her to accept me, and I want her to be able to one day say, this is my granddaughter, and I'm proud of who she's become. I'm proud of how far she's come along and how strong of a woman she is. That's really the point I want to get to. Whether I get there or not is another question. But yeah, that's my coming out story. Advice. This is, I'm not really sure how to do this part. Advice for people who want to come out as anything. Come out as gay, come out as lesbian, come out as bi, come out as trans, come out as pansexual, whatever. Just always start with the people who are closest to you. I cannot stress that enough. Always start with family, especially your parents and your siblings, because especially if you're younger, those are the ones you have to live with. Those are the ones that are going to be the most important factors of how this plays out. So, because friends and people at school and people at work, they don't really matter. I mean, they're not kin to you. Basically the saying goes, the ones who mind don't matter, and the ones who matter don't mind. I found that perfect for this situation. I think it is an LGBT quote. I'm not sure. Maybe. But that's the biggest piece of advice I have for you guys. Just start with people who are closest to you. Start with your mom. Start with your dad. Tell your siblings. Tell your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin. And just go down the family line. Always start with family. I did make that mistake when I came out as trans, because I posted it on Facebook publicly before I told my mother, and I do regret that. I regret that deeply, and it irritates me to this day that I did that, and I wish I hadn't have. I wish I had waited like 24 hours after I actually made this decision, told my mother, then the next day made the post on Facebook, and went from there. But it's on past now. I can't change it, and so yeah. Another piece of advice is be confident. Try not to shy away from it. Don't mumble, don't stutter, don't twiddle your thumbs. Just stand there with your back straight, your shoulders cocked back, and your chin up, and look your parents in the eyes and say, Mom, Dad, I love you, and I'm sorry if you don't accept me for who I am, but I am gay, I am bi, I am lesbian, I am transgender, I am pansexual, I am asexual, agender, non-binary, genderqueer. How many of these things can I list? I have no fucking idea. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to watch my language. But yeah, that's really the biggest advice I have for you guys. And once you come out, stay confident. Don't listen to the ridicule. Don't shame away when you hear people talking on the street. I mean, as soon as you come out, girl, I want you to go buy the biggest, brightest t-shirt that you can find and wear it around every single day. No, buy multiple ones, because I don't want you wearing the same t-shirt every day. That's a little nasty. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. I am starting to push my limits, so like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you want to see, please. I have no ideas. Tell me something, please. But I will see you guys later. Kira out.